a word originating from the Greeks, a proud people that really know how to cook. Opa is usually accompanied by a large flame and the delicious smell of Saganaki, better known as flaming cheese. Today I will teach you how to make this delicious and easy Greek treat. You're going to want to make sure that you have a bowl of water and the cheese itself. You're also going to want to make sure that you have a bowl of flour, all-purpose flour, it doesn't have to be anything special, and some olive oil. You'll also want to have lemons and a 1/4 cup of metaxa, which is brandy. You're also going to want to make sure you have a skillet, just to cook it, and about a tablespoon of oregano. You're going to start off by having your cheese soak in a bowl of water. This has been soaking for about 5 minutes now. And you can use any kind of cheese you want. This is a really hard Greek cheese. You want to make sure it's hard though, otherwise it'll melt. I'm going to put it in the bowl of flour right now, just to set, and we'll leave it there while I set this on fire. Right now, I have about a 1/4 cup of olive oil in the skillet, just so that the oil gets hot before we can cook the cheese. Olive oil does burn really fast, so you want to make sure that you have it on and you're watching it. So while the oil is heating up, you're going to take the cheese and you're going to make sure that every piece of it is covered with flour. The flour is very essential in the cooking of Saganaki because without it, you're not going to be left with any cheese. It's all going to melt. So this helps prevent it from not melting, and it also leaves you with the coating that is very characteristic of Saganaki. So this is almost entirely covered right now, but you want to make sure that there isn't any spots that are left open. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it over the top. Now I'm going to take this over here. You're going to want to make sure that you also have a towel handy because the flour does get really, really messy. Alright. The oil looks about like it's ready because you can kind of tell when it's at this consistency. I am going to put the cheese in. You're going to know that the cheese is put in at the right time when you hear the oil sizzle upon its entry. Alright, so now you know it's ready. You're going to want to make sure you also have a spatula so that you can watch the cheese itself and make sure it's okay. The stovetop is on high because without the hot oil, your cheese isn't going to cook, but the cheese itself cooks pretty fast, depending on its thickness. This is a medium thickness of cheese, and that's really good for cooking because it's not going to cook too fast, but you're also not going to have to sit here for hours while it cooks. You're not going to want to move it around too much in the oil because you do not want to lose the flour coating. That's the most important part, like I said earlier. You can just leave it after it's cooked. You don't really need to ignite it because it's still going to taste really good. But the igniting is more of like a touristy thing. So you can see that the flour layer is starting to like caramelize almost on the bottom of it. And you can see that the cheese on the bottom is turning colors. It's getting a nice golden brown. You're not going to want to flip it too much either because that also disturbs the flour layer. So I'm going to wait just a couple more seconds and then we're going to flip it to get the other side. You want to make sure you get the bottom though. That's the most important part in it. You also kind of want to stand back when you do that because the grease is pretty hot. But as you can see, the cheese is starting to like turn colors and it's starting to get a really nice smell to it. As you can smell the olive oil burning off. The olive oil makes it especially Greek. But yes, this is going to be able to serve about 6. So you're not going to have to worry about running out of food. This is a fairly good slice of cheese. So the cheese looks like it's about done. You can tell when the toppings start to like fall to the side. And now we're going to want to ignite it. So you're going to want to make sure that you turn off your stove before you go and grab your lighting materials. I'm going to grab a lighter and brandy because that's how the cheese starts. You want to also be careful because the brandy is flammable, so you don't want to spill it in the flame. you're going to take the skillet, hold that out in front of you, pour on the brandy, as I spill most of them. So take the lighter, so you can hear it sizzle. Oppa! And there you go, you have Saganaki. You want to make sure you have your lemon sort of close to you so that you can squeeze out the flame, because the lemon juice also adds flavor and extinguishes it. Your Saganaki looks very similar to this if you did it right. You're going to want to make sure you have a serving bowl ready, which I do right here. You're going to dish out of the pan, making sure to get the bottom, because that's the good part, like I said before. You have your Saganaki right here, and the next and final step is to add the oregano. Oregano is a very, very pungent spice, so you want to kind of crush it between your fingers because that releases the smell of the oregano. I suggest taking about 2 pinches, like 3 or 4 of the corns, and sprinkling it on there because it is a lot of flavor. And there you have it, Saganaki, one of the easiest and most famous Greek appetizers in the world.